What would be the best way to attain world peace? Let's say world peace was possible, right? What would be the message you would send to the masses to achieve that, or to at least become as peaceful as we possibly could amongst each other? So just take a minute to think about that, what that message would be. And I say this at a time when Israel and Palestine is kicking off, and obviously Ukraine and Russia is 2 years in, and we're moving closer and closer to World War III. Now, I recently went on holiday with my family. For those of you who don't know, I live separate from my mum and brother and sister. I live in Cyprus, they live in the UK. And I met up with them on holiday, and my brother brought his boyfriend along. And nice guy, really nice guy, and we got into some really deep, serious conversations, which was really good. And he was very intrigued on my mindset, and one of the subjects we got onto was the notion of how to achieve a more peaceful society and world. Now, bear in mind, he was like left-wing. He wasn't far left, but he's definitely on the left, being gay himself, more often than not, if they're gay, they're on the left, and he was on the left, but he was actually quite open-minded, willing to listen. He agreed with me on some things. I would say I'm right of centre. I have some left-leaning ideas and views. I would say I'm right of centre, and I said to him that the most common message sent to the masses to achieve peace amongst another is that we view each other as one. We are one. We are all one. We are all one human race. And this is true in many ways, And you hear this a lot from people who have gone on some deep psychedelic trips, especially with ayahuasca and so on. That this is the message they get. We're all the same. We're all from the same place. What are you doing arguing and killing each other? It's ridiculous. We're all the same. And I said to him, I actually think this is being used, as true as it technically is, it's being used more as a psyop. He said, what do you mean a psyop? And I said, well, this is the message you would also use to move towards a egalitarian and hence a totalitarian society, and how you can move a step closer to a one world government. Because if you all see yourself as the same, we could all be under the umbrella of one government and one control. Just think China. Just think about China, basically. They more think themselves as like a colony of ants than individualists. And I said, the more effective message that you would use is of one of actual individualism and being hell-bent on trying to become the best version of yourself. And he was confused at first, and maybe you are too if you haven't thought about this before, but it makes complete sense. Because I don't want to go down, if you're all about freedom like I am, I don't want to go down the route of all being the same. We're all one. I love the thing about humans, that we are individuals. We are unique as our own people. There's only one copy of me and one copy of you and so forth, as much as we have in common. It's great that we can view ourselves as individuals. And if you had a society of people that were just hell-bent on being the best versions of themselves and being incredibly self-aware, they wouldn't have the need to go to war with their fellow man. They'd be like, well, look, I'm doing my best over here, you're doing your best over there, all respect to you, but crack on, mate, crack on, and let's just leave each other alone. I don't need to believe what you believe. I don't need to think the way you think. I don't need to act the way you act. Don't make me do that, because that's often what is the cause of division and war and so forth, and cultural wars and civil wars is that, you got to think the way I think, and no, you got to think the way I think and do what I do, and so forth. Instead, if you're just a society of individuals who just collectively want to have the best lives that they can for themselves and be the best versions of themselves, that means you just got a society of people trying to improve themselves and improve their lives of their families and their close ones and their loved ones, and that spreads out, and you just enter a society of people who are just on the journey of being the best version of themselves and having good friendships and great family and close social connections, and then that just spreads out to a society that respects one another. You're on your journey, I'm on mine. Great, there you go. Nassim Taleb said you like your neighbor more when they live in the house next door to you than if they moved into your house.
No, but like big deposit like that.
And he was talking, fundamentally he was talking about like immigration in a way, mass immigration. But it's a similar thing here. It's like I said before, you haven't got to think the way I think. You ain't got to do what I'm going to do. Don't try to make me do it. Just leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. And if you're just trying to strive to be the best version of yourself, I respect that. I like that about you.
Net worth 30 million.
And you're going to let me do that because that's what you'll think the same way as me in that sense. And whatever your version of the best version of yourself is, as long as you're not causing other people harm, great. Go for it, my man.
100 billion.
But you do you and I do me. And that would be a much more effective message to the masses. But of course, that would also mean going down the route of self-awareness and self-improvement and individualism. That would mean you'd have a world or a culture of free thinkers. They think for themselves, right? And governments and so forth, they don't want that. They want the collective mind, the hive mind. They want you to obey. And if you're an ardent individualist who's hell-bent on being the best version of himself, you don't want to be controlled. You want freedom. So that's why they push the message of we are one, we are all the same, whilst they know very well that for most part we are the same. But the differences that we have, the small differences that we have, that makes a big difference. So that's what I think, and that's how I truly believe that would make a much more peaceful world. Unfortunately, it wouldn't make an obedient one as such. I mean, that's up for debate, to be honest. That's up for debate. If a government respected people as individuals themselves, and you had a government who was respectful and honest and whatnot, which isn't going to help. But look, the whole conversation is theoretical, right? We aren't going to reach world peace, but that's all. I think that's the message we should be giving people: more individualism, more self-awareness, less collectivism. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. I'll reply back to you. My main channel, link of my main channel is in the description. Go over there if you're not subscribed. If you're not subscribed here, subscribe. Bell notification, like, all of that helps me out massively here, but most importantly on the main channel. I really, really appreciate that. Join me for the next video.